U11 Weather Center. For the past several days, actually all week, we've been watching and waiting to see if indeed we would get a tropical system, an official tropical system, a depression or a tropical storm form in the Gulf of Mexico. And it's gotten very close, but as of this moment, we still do not have a depression or a named tropical storm. What we have is a potential tropical system number 3. But what there is of this is just about to make landfall on the southeast Louisiana coast. And once it makes landfall, it will be off its energy source, the warm water of the ocean, and that will be the end of that. So it's only got a few more hours to go, if that, to perhaps strengthen into a tropical depression number 3. This system has been interesting to watch. A textbook case of the difference between the dirty side of a tropical circulation and the dry side, or the clean side of a tropical low. What you do is you find the center and you find which way it's going, and you look to the right-hand side. In this case, it's to the east, and that's where all of the action is. That's where all of the lift and the moisture, and it's the dirty side of the storm. And quite often, this side will have the stronger winds as well. You have a forward motion of about 15 miles an hour. You add the wind speed circulating around the center to that, and you have much higher winds on the dirty side than you do on the dry side. It's the exact opposite. You subtract that forward motion speed to the wind vector. So around the center of rotation, and to the east is where all the activity is. So New Orleans to Mobile Bay, over to Panama City, Florida, they're having a rainy, stormy evening and a stormy tomorrow, while we're, for the most part, having a dry evening. That being said, look at this. A little piece of energy has wrapped around the backside, and it's kicked off a few scattered showers south of Beaumont, Jefferson County. We'll have to wait and see if that can work its way down the beaches and get Crystal Beach and maybe Galveston a little bit wet this evening. It doesn't look like anything strong, but we'll keep an eye on that. So there's always a little piece of uncertainty in every one of these storms. Maybe we'll get a few showers. And that's how it will be going into the weekend. There could be 1 or 2 scattered showers on the coast, and that's about it. So what's the big reason why this storm just couldn't get going? We talked about this the past couple of days. There's a lot of wind shear at the mid-levels, and it's pushing all of the storm system, all of the convection, the deep thunderstorm activity off to the east of the struggling to develop center. For these storms to develop, you need to have these bright cloud tops where all the big thunderstorm activity is right over the center. That's what will drop the pressure and intensify the rotation. But in this case, it's all been displaced by that wind shear. Tropical systems need to develop in a vertical fashion. They need to have that surface circulation directly underneath developing thunderstorms to develop. And what's happened in this case is that wind shear has blown the top over, and in this case it's actually ripped the storm apart from top to bottom before it could even get going. And so that's why this storm has struggled to maintain an identity as a tropical entity over the past several days, and that's why it may not even become a tropical system officially after all. So the hurricane hunter flew the system today. This was earlier, late this morning. They thought the center was down in here. They flew around, they couldn't find it. Then they went back to the north and they found a center right here, 1,004 millibars. That's the lowest central pressure they found out there. And that happened at 1 o'clock this afternoon. But there were no significant winds around that 1,004 millibar low. All of the wind activity is, along with the storm activity, has been displaced off to the east due to that wind shear. So the strongest winds with this system were way out here. You know, that's more than 100 miles to the east of the center. Flight level winds they found at almost 60 miles an hour. That translates to about a 40 to 45 mile an hour sustained wind, but it's nowhere near the center. So, you know, normally you get sustained winds of 45, you've got a tropical storm on your hand. But in this case, those winds were just having to do with the convection way off to the east. It wasn't around the center. And so that's why, even though we've got winds sustained officially when you look at the stats on this of 40 to 45 miles an hour, there they are, winds at 45, it's not been upgraded to a depression or a storm because those winds are away from the center. So here's the forecast track from the Hurricane Center. Perhaps becoming a depression or a storm before making landfall, which is kind of happening right about now, bringing rain to New Orleans and Mississippi and Alabama, and then moving on inland and weakening as it does so. Once it's removed from the warm ocean waters, its energy source, these systems, these tropical systems begin to weaken. So off it goes. It will bring rain to Montgomery, Alabama and Atlanta, Georgia by Sunday, but very little in the way of impacts here, except for this, and this is always interesting to me. These tropical systems over the water, they create wave action. It's like dropping a pebble in a pond. The ripples move away from the center where that pebble dropped. Well, think of this as the pebble, and it will send wave action out away from the center. And even today, some of that wave action has reached the upper Texas and Galveston coast. We have swells 3 to 5 feet coming into the beach. This can cause an increased rip current threat as it pushes water up on the beach, then it sloshes back off. And so if you are going down there and going swimming tomorrow morning, they have red flags flying to be extra careful. Rip current threat is there at least through the morning hours on Saturday. After that, the wave action should begin to settle down as what there is of this goes ahead and moves on inland. So that's really been the biggest impact we've seen today. As far as the rainfall goes, it's all the center and off to the east of the center as we've seen it displaced. It rains tonight in New Orleans and Slidell and Mobile, and Jackson, Mississippi gets rain, and then we go into Saturday morning. It's still raining here. Sunday morning, Atlanta, Georgia ends up getting rain, maybe some thunderstorms from this system, while we start Sunday morning relatively quiet. And then things begin to change a little bit. We go into Sunday afternoon and evening, we might see some moisture come on shore finally and give us a scattered shower. So a little rain chance on Sunday. Monday, rain chances begin to increase, but that's because of a weak frontal boundary, which will be pushing in from the north. Now, this frontal boundary is not going to make it cold. Technically, it is a cold front, but of course, it's late June, almost early July now, so it's not going to cool us off much. It will bring rain Tuesday as it pushes in. So Tuesday looks like a wet day next week. And then after that, I think we're going to get a very pleasant, nice day on Wednesday. Lows in the upper 60s, low 70s, highs only near 90 as we get lower humidity on Wednesday. But going into that Tuesday, there's your rainy day next week as that front comes in. There may be a strong thunderstorm with that as well on late Monday night into Tuesday. As far as the weekend goes, here it is. I think we're mostly dry on Saturday. An isolated shower can't be ruled out. Sunday, it's a little better rain chance at 30% as the moisture levels begin to increase. So that's a look at what's going on in the tropics with our potential tropical cyclone number 3 about to run out of runway to become a tropical storm. And the minor but interesting impacts here. If you're going down to the beaches, you'll notice tomorrow morning in particular, the swells are big. They should settle down as we go through the day, and it should be a beautiful beach day in Galveston Saturday. Sunday looks pretty good as well. Everything updated on the TV side on KHOU 11 News at 10 o'clock. We will see you then for a live update.